The lighting in the living room situation is turning into a complete saga. In the previous video, a user had recommended purchasing a particular Juno branded fixture, which I ought to remember the model number by now considering how many times I've typed it into the computer, but I don't. It was suggested, and I understand why, that said fixture was still available, and it is listed as available on quite a few different retailers, but it in fact is no longer under manufacture and has not been for a while. I had ordered one of them as a sample, and actually it would have been 2 videos prior to this that the recommendation was made, but I ordered that fixture, just one of them, as a sample, and it came in, and I went back to the same retailer and I requested it to order 15 more, and the order got canceled and said that there's none in stock and they can't replenish the stock. The fixture I received, the first one, was dated 2021, and I suspect that the fixture was discontinued then or shortly after. I proceeded to place an order for 16 fixtures on an additional 2 different retailers, so now we're talking 3 in total, and I had the same experience. One of which the model number was a hair different, so I just ordered one, and again it came, and so I ordered 15 more and the order got canceled. So I don't quite understand what is going on with that, because the last time it got canceled, the website listed 35 in stock. I ordered one, the quantity in stock went down to 34. I ordered an additional 15, and the lady calls me and says that she can't get them. And I asked her, I says, well, why does the website say that there's 34 in stock if you don't have 34? And she didn't really have a good explanation for that, other than the fact that the light fixture has been discontinued. So I have placed an order at a 4th retailer. I ordered 5 this time, just to see what would happen. I'm hoping that maybe if I order like 2 or 3, maybe I don't know. It's just, this is ridiculous. The bottom line is, I don't think so that I'm going to be able to get those fixtures. I think the same thing is going to happen. The order is going to get canceled, and could I potentially order 1 or 2 at a time from these 4 or 5 different retailers and maybe end up with 16? Possibly. But the problem is, every time I order one, so I have 2 of them right now, one of which I bought from the expensive retailer that was charging over $40 a piece. I think I have probably $60-something into these 2 fixtures that I don't have a use for anymore. So if I keep ordering them one at a time and I can't get to 16, then the whole project becomes a total loss, and that I'm not willing to do. So it's extremely frustrating, because we go back to this concept I've mentioned in a bunch of videos in the past. The current consumer product market, it just doesn't have any consumer choice anymore. The whole concept of consumer choice and consumer preference has just disappeared. As far as the finishes I can find track lights in nowadays, you have black, white, and silver, and that's about it. If we go back 30 or 40 years, you would be able to get these in 25 different colors with no problem, and it's just gone. There's nothing traditional in this sense on the market anymore. There is not. I'm convinced that there is not one single solitary polished brass track light manufactured on the entire face of this, well, maybe not the whole planet, but in this country, none manufactured anymore, which to me is just outrageous, because there's plenty of parts of the country that have not jumped on this monochrome styling bandwagon and still have houses with wood paneling, still have brass fixtures, still want something traditional. And what do you do in that case when something breaks and you need to replace it? You can't. And it's the same thing here. I keep running into this problem with this house. I need something in a larger quantity, in this case light fixtures, and I can't get a traditional model. It's very, very frustrating. So I think I am going to have to purchase either used or new old stock ones. And the problem I'm going to run into is that 16 of something new old stock very seldom shows up. I did extensive amounts of searching on stupid E ripoff, so you can only imagine how expensive this project has become. And it looks like there is 2 or 3 models on there, some under the Edison brand, which are polished brass, and there's not 16 of any of them, but I can find across a couple different auctions I can produce 6 or 7 of the same. What I might have to do is I might have to settle for only 3 lights per segment of the ceiling, so that would give us a total of 12, which is reducing the brightness by 25%, which I'm not happy about because I'm not satisfied with the brightness as it is now. So we're going to reduce the brightness by 25%, and we'll only have 12 fixtures as opposed to 16. And if I do the 12, I have 6 on each beam, and what I'm going to have to do is get 2 different models and have 6 of one model on one beam and 6 of another model on another beam. I don't like that, but I think that's the best I'm going to be able to do. So this is one of the 2 that I'm going to try. There's a handful of listings on there right now for some of these. This is the Edison branded E2701B track light. This one is the 50 watts model, which takes an R20 bulb. The other one that's on there is the size bigger than this. It's a 75 watt, and I believe it takes R30 bulbs. So it's a considerably larger fixture, but it's generally the same form factor. So this has got to be, this looks like 80s to 90s to me. It's copyright of 1989, but it's a pretty cool box. Would have originally sold at Disgusting Man's for $17.97. So let's take a look at this fixture. So it's a nice looking fixture. It's very similar in well, it's actually not similar in shape to what's there now. Those are more of like a cylinder, but this is a very typical basic traditional track light. The finish is not in the best of condition. There's definitely some spots where it's been marked up, I guess just from storage, but I don't think that's a big deal because once these are up on the ceiling you're not going to be able to tell. It's a nice porcelain socket. $392, perhaps 1992, which was only just over 30 years ago. So again, you go back 35 years and you've got all these different options, and now they're extinct. So if I can find I'll order additional 3 of these, and then I have to get the larger ones as well. Now there's another problem that we introduce, and that is the fact that this is not a J track. This is something entirely different. So I'm either going to have to replace the track, which is more time, more money, or I'm wondering if I can unscrew this part where the connector is and replace the connectors with J connectors. I don't know. I'm really not that familiar with track lighting to know the difference and how this stuff works, so we'll have to experiment with that. It's just very frustrating. You know, this should be a simple. It should be simple to just be able to go and buy some track lights that match the room. But unless it's gray, black, or white, you can't. And I just don't understand that design trend. I mean, those three colors, gray in particular, is such a dreary and uninviting, uninteresting color. Why are interior designers filling our houses with this bland, lifeless junk? I don't get it. So that's where we're at with this. This is turning into a very frustrating and very expensive project. You know, I think it's worth it in the long run, because the lighting in there is something that's bothered me since I bought the house, and I've wanted to change it, but it's just ridiculous that I can't just go out and buy some basic fixtures and put them up there and have the lighting that I prefer.